And welcome back. It is time once again for another edition of 10Weather Chat. Now, Daniel, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, tossing it right over to me. I'm doing
Go
great.
ahead and start right off.
You caught me off guard there. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Meteorologist Mike Simon, Todd, Howell
Doing
here.
good.
We were just chatting, and Daniel was just telling me right before we went on this, it's the 10Weather Chat. So we can chat about not just weather, a little bit of everything. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to mix it up. Mike, how's your summer going so far? Here we are in the heart of July, midsummer.
It's going great. It's just so hot lately. I mean,
It's hot.
Well, I'm glad we got a break now. Last week it was
yeah.
terrible, but
yes.
at least it's a little better right now.
Yes. Surface of the sun last week. We have one of our graphics. Joke about that. Regular summer right now. It is a little bit better. Thankfully, we got some heat relief. Daniel, how is your summer going, my friend?
Oh, my summer's going great. Just the other week during Independence Day weekend, my wife and I went down to Georgia where our families are, saw the early morning parade down in rural Colbert, Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it was a great time.
That's awesome.
How about y'all?
Yeah, I hope everybody had a great – that's right. We're past the 4th of July. I tell you what, weather-wise here in Knoxville, Friday the day before, speaking of surface of the sun, remember that day? It was blue blazes. Then we had those intense storms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they blew up.
It blew up. Next day, 4th of July, it was
Nothing.
hot, but it was nothing. It probably worked out about as well as you could possibly hope for on Independence Day on the 4th.
And we were around for the 200. You remember that?
Trying to think about
I was young. I was like first grade, and there was a little parade in the town I lived in, and they threw out the bicentennial quarters for us.
That took me back. The bison. That's right. I do barely remember that. Now I was trying to recall.
They gave us little flags to wave. I mean, I was 6, 7.
I know. I'm doing the math real quick. Let's see. So I would have been 11, roughly. So so I was back in my hometown. So I'm still trying. When you said bicentennial quarter, I do remember that. That was a big deal. Remember having a bicentennial quarter, have that. So, well, I hope everybody out there is having a great summer. And you know what? One of the things we're trying to do a little bit more of. I'm not a good golfer. I'm pretty much average at best.
I bet you're better than me.
No, I bet you're. Speaking of which, Mike, I can almost guarantee you're probably better.
No.
We were coming on to do our chat. We were just chatting. Daniel's getting us all set up like he does a great job getting us. And we just happened to talk. I'm taking off tomorrow, play some golf. And you threw out a cool little nugget.
It was a fluke, though. Because
you had a hole in one. You're a left-handed golfer,
got a
first
hole
of all.
in one.
They say left-handers are more graceful. So
I don't know about that.
So there's that. You had a hole in one. You got to tell us about it.
Well, I was only playing for about a year and a half at the time. I just started learning golf and stuff.
Serious?
So I was playing with a couple of buddies, and, I'm hitting a lot of times just terribly. And we got to a par 3.
Yeah.
It was up on a hill.
Yeah.
And I've been at this hole before. It's not the first time I've played it.
Right.
And so I used an 8-iron. It was 135 yards.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine could use a pitching wedge to get it up there. But I used 8-iron,
Yeah.
hit it up there. I thought for sure it bounced. You couldn't see it because I saw a bounce.
Yes.
And there's a big hill down the other side. I thought I was going to roll right down that hill.
Right.
So I went up looking. I didn't bother looking anywhere else but around the back of that hill.
You thought it was going to roll and kept on going off the green.
And there was nothing in the green. We couldn't find it. And then a friend of mine, Paul, goes, "Did you look in the hole?" I go, "You got to be kidding me." Walked
Seriously?
over there. There it is.
Come on.
So lucky. But
Come on.
I was
That was
like, man, this is a
awesome.
lucky ball. I'm going to use the next hole. And they were like, no, you don't use that ball. You keep it now.
Oh, is that right? You retire it?
I was going to just keep playing with it. But I wrote on there to make sure I remember when and all that stuff.
Absolutely. My older brother, Trip, over in Asheville, he plays at the Grove Park, and he had a hole in one on the 17th.
Oh, really?
Which is right up near the nice Omni Grove Hotel right there. Is kind of runs parallel to that. Anyway,
and so people probably saw that.
He was actually playing. Thankfully, what if you're playing by yourself? You're like, oh man,
I know you got to have witnesses.
Who's going to believe me? Take a selfie. But he was playing with a foursome, and he got his picture. And everything. I'm sure a lot of folks out there, if they're golfers, maybe they're playing a whole lifetime, and a lot of folks, myself included, have not had a hole in one. So you were only playing a year and a half, and you went ahead and got your first hole-in-one.
Who knows if I ever
Hope
get
you're
a
not
good
your last, right?
You're right.
Daniel, you ever had a hole-in-one in golf? Or?
I've never properly golfed. Never properly golfed, just done putt-putt. I think I have gotten a hole-in-one on putt-putt.
Hey, that counts.
It's
Not sitting next to this guy over here. No,
it's a frustrating game, isn't it?
It is so hard. I think the thing that keeps you coming back when you hit a couple of good shots,
Yeah.
that'll keep you coming back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even despite the 10 bad shots. Well, that's cool. I hope everybody's having a great summer. Let's dive into 10 Weather Chat, and let's talk about, yes, we'll start off with the drought monitor. We're still running a deficit. We've seen some improvements as we take a look at what we're seeing. So this is a look ahead of what we're seeing. So this week, we're abnormally dry, so we've been out of the drought in the valley, in the central and northern valley, still under a severe drought up on the plateau, but they got out of the extreme drought a couple weeks ago, surrounded by some moderate drought coming off the plateau in northern areas. So, all right, Mike, you made this graphic. I love it. It's got a little slider bar, so we're going to do the drum roll. The difference between last week to this week is?
Nothing.
What's that commercial? Nothing, honey. Nothing. No change. But, hey, that's better than it got worse. But
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the key. July is our wettest month of the year on average. In Knoxville, 5¼ inches. So, segue to how are we doing so far? Nothing. Not much.
Only 1 month in the green.
Yeah. Only 1 month in the green. Exactly. May, we had a surplus, which we really needed some decent rains in May. It helped. You got to go a long way before to catch up. We're still running behind, but at least it was trying to put a Band-Aid on it, so to speak, and help. June was close, about 1/4 inch behind, but, man, so far July. Now, you and I were chatting. Climatology, our average rainfall in July is 5¼ inches. And as we speak, we've got flood watch in place coming days, as of this taping, the next couple of days. And so, lo and behold, would not be surprised since we average 5¼ inches. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean, not guaranteed anything. But you got to think climatology, there tends to want to be a way for the atmosphere, for averages to try to be realized sometimes close to it. So let's see if we don't get dumped on. And maybe when we do our chat the next couple of weeks.
And it kind of needs to happen because we're going to be getting into the drier months usually.
Look at that. Exactly. Look at the drop-off from July to August. That's a good point, Mike. We kind of need that midsummer heavy rainfall. And that's typically when July is our wettest month of the year on average. That comes from your thunderstorms. They're scattered. You know the drill. Some areas I got 2.5 inches at my house. Really? Somebody lives 5 miles down the road or just other part of the city. I didn't get a drop at mine.
Yeah. I see that a lot on Facebook when people are posting.
Exactly.
I didn't get anything. But I got like 3 inches.
Yeah, 100%. It is a real thing. We've already seen that this first part of July. Some areas get 2 to 4 inches, and other areas not a drop. So there's your averages. Yes, from August, September, and expect October. After July, we're starting to dry out. Now, this is a typical July weather pattern in terms of dew point temperatures, measuring how much moisture is in the atmosphere. You get dew points in the 70s. That is rich, deep moisture with a lot of humid conditions. And so east of the Rockies, you get in the plain states eastward, it's very tropical, it's very humid. And, of course, out west, it's typically going to be much, much drier. So that's a look at the juice in the atmosphere. There's our flood watches. Again, as of this taping, it's going to run from Friday afternoon through Sunday afternoon, early evening. So the next couple of days, looking at the decent chances for not only rainfall, but some of that rain could be heavier than usual and heavier than we've seen. So that's some good news. Now, another way to look at how much moisture is in the atmosphere is by looking at Daniel.
He what?
He what? That's exactly right. Still waiting on the shirts to be produced on that. It's got to be a big seller.
That's a good idea, actually.
That's a look at precipitable water, Mike, and we've got it. So that's what could lead to heavy rainfall the next couple of days.
The oranges and the darker tans, that's more moisture.
Hey, there's some blue showing up, though. Next week, a little bit of a boundary is going to try to bring in a little bit lower humidity. Not really cool air. You're not going to get that for a while. But maybe that lower humidity that could help us out, kind of coming in the back door. Look at that demarcation just to the south and west of Knoxville. Our friends in Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee, maybe not getting in on that as quite as much, but Look at that, even down in the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach. Maybe a little
That'd
bit
be
of
nice.
Relief. I digress, but my wife and I are going to take an anniversary trip to South Myrtle.
Are you? That'll be fun.
Congrats.
Later in the month. Yeah, we kind of look forward to it. We go to the same place each year. So, again, I digress, going back to our summertime chat. But anyway, so hopefully we'll hope for speaking of which, though, speaking of the beaches and segueing and kind of talking about the tropics, new information coming out just recently, actually yesterday. Let's talk about this, Mike. So with El Nino, not only El Nino kicking in, already kicked in, but a strong El Nino, potential for super El Nino. El Nino, you have a lot more shear in the Atlantic. Not as favorable conditions for tropical development in the Atlantic Ocean. Pacific is much more active than the Atlantic.
Those typhoons.
So, yes, exactly. So when you have El Nino, you're going to have generally less hurricane activity. And when it's a strong El Nino, the same holds. The stronger the El Nino, the less the hurricane activity typically in the Atlantic. So they've actually lowered the number of expected storms from going back from May now to July, particularly Colorado State. I think it's Phil Klotzball is one of the, I hope I said his last name right, but one of the main influencers of the hurricane production and the predictions and forecasts from Colorado State. They've gone down to 9. I think they had 11.
It dropped from
in June and down to 9 now. Number of hurricanes 4, major hurricanes just 1. So
and they could all be out in the ocean.
Yes.
We don't know, but only one bad one.
Yeah, look at 1992.
Exactly.
Hurricane Andrew, right? It was a inactive season overall, but it only takes one to make that season fairly active. So that's a look at NOAA's forecast, and there's your averages. So yeah, I mean, if we get one major hurricane, that would certainly be a good bit less than the average of 3, and the longer term average. So that's a look ahead. So we'll see more shear. And I was reading something too that the water temperatures not quite as warm as sometimes they are this time of year in the Caribbean and the Atlantic, just more normal instead of really very warm. So that's kind of a look ahead to what we can expect. So if folks are going to the beach or going on a cruise, maybe a lot of times you could take a little bit of a gamble. The peak hurricane season coming out August, September, maybe early October, but maybe things
a little less risky.
Less risky. There you go. Less risky. And looking ahead, yep, I like the looks of this as far as our near-term 7-day. We got mainly 80s and not as many 90s, And so if we can cruise through July, maybe we'll look back and say that heat wave we had was our perhaps
only one.
Oh, and one. Maybe we'll say that was the hottest temperatures, and that was just after a week we got into summer. But maybe we'll be able to look back. But hopefully we'll get some decent rains. Got a chance for that in the near term. A little bit lower humidity next week. We'll dry out, and then we'll come back next week and talk about what we got and look ahead to the rest of summer and talk about more of our vacations and what we got coming up for the rest of the summer season. All right. Well, Mike, Daniel, thank you guys. And it's always a pleasure to be here on 10 Weather Chat. So until next week, have a good, safe week. Stay cool, and we'll see you back next week.